Today, as we celebrate 30 years of the Mineworkers Investment Company, it's more important than ever to look back on the journey that got us here.
It was established for the benefit of the union members.
So what happens is, as you are losing those jobs, you are losing, one, you're losing membership in the union, and two, you're losing breadwinners in the communities that they live there. So what it is that the beneficiary needs is financial inclusivity. They need to participate in the economy.
In the early 90s, as the country began its journey to becoming a democracy, the leaders of the National Union of Mineworkers realized that they might be heading towards a financial crisis.
The elections hadn't yet been held in 1994, and the union was feeling very vulnerable.
It was obviously an exciting time in South Africa. We were going through the first democratic elections, so the fact is the country was moving in a new direction.
While it all works seamlessly today, at the time, it was difficult to imagine how the union would be able to fit into the market arena of investments.
On how we actually really wanted to run the MIC, the first thing that we agreed on was that there is no way in which you could have the union running the investment company, because we felt that there could be a contradiction, being a trade union and to also own an investment company.
The idea is that we invest, we get growth, we get dividends, and we take these distributions to the investment trust, who then implements through the agency's social programs to try and claw back some of these losses.
Once the inner workings were figured out, from the governance framework to putting the right people in place, big moves began to happen.
So there was a director representing the diamond sector, the coal sector, the platinum sector, the gold sector.
My first encounter with MIC was actually in a non-executive role. So I came here and found an organization that was growing, or just at that brink of growth.
I think it must have taken us no less than 2 months, because I think we discussed it at several National Executive Committee meetings.
I thought to myself, wow, quite an interesting company. Who's this Mineworkers Investment Company?
It began with a relatively small initial seed investment, but even the biggest ambitions need to start somewhere.
I think for me it's quite special, because when you look at the story of the company and how it was started, and how it started with just a few million in seed capital.
3 million rand was donated to the trust out of NUM resources, which, if I understand, was repaid at a certain date. So NUM was made whole, that even the donation that it made to the trust was repaid free.
And while the first big investment didn't work out as planned, the lessons learned from that deal led to things really taking off.
It was unfortunate that Matoma went on to fail for a range of reasons. Every time you do a transaction, there is transaction risk.
Following on to that, obviously, another key turning point was the investment into First Rand. But we fought hard on making sure that it was the right transaction for us as an investment company.
We did a deal with a company called Metrofile, and I think we paid about 25,000 for the stake in Metrofile. And that stake today, I'm sure it is north of 400 million.
I couldn't believe that a company that had been started by workers, for workers, was in a position to be buying, at that time, one of the biggest assets in the country. So needless to say, for decades, MIC has had this very admirable place in terms of my mind.
And when the broadcasting industry was deregulated, we invested in Prime Media, putting us at the forefront of communications.
First time I heard about MIC, I think, was maybe 15 years ago. They were thereabouts. They were involved in the delisting of Prime Media.
Contributed from day one, always seemingly had the best interests of the business at heart.
A key highlight for us as Curo, where MIC was able to kind of get in, was to tap into an existing relationship that they had with 702 to profile Curo Medical as a healthcare solution.
Even today, when I listen to broadcasting on the Prime Media platform like your 702, I feel proud that Prime Media has transformed.
While many insightful decisions were made, the financial world can be unpredictable, and we faced more than our fair share of obstacles, overcoming each in turn, growing and learning as we did.
Because the last 15 years have not always been smooth sailing. We've had some market shocks. The environment has not always been conducive, but we've been able to ride the wave and be able to see the outcome in the end has been great.
Here you're talking about the crises in the late 1990s, the early 2000s, the global financial crisis. You know, there's been some COVID, there's been some fairly spectacular market crashes whilst we've been around. And every single one of them, we've not only managed to survive, but we've learned hard lessons, managed to embed those lessons into the way the business operates.
We saw a lot of value in our portfolio starting to diminish because that was brought about clearly between the global financial crisis that was on thing. We obviously had to pivot quite quickly to try and basically position so we can preserve value and help grow value.
And notwithstanding the challenges, as a management team, we've risen to the challenge.
It was very much business unusual, but what we found over the years is that the MIC have been very active in our boardroom. They've been very sensible, very stable, very good at giving advice. And when it came to something like COVID, which was a real challenge, they were able to find learnings from other investee companies.
Along the way, it was decided that beyond creating a sustainable asset base for the Mineworkers Investment Trust, it was our responsibility to further education and invest in our people directly, particularly through the JB Marks Education Trust.
We were also mindful of the fact that these mine workers, energy workers, and construction workers have children, and they don't have the resources to take them to institutions of higher learning.
I think one of the biggest achievements for me would be the JB Marks Fund, where some of the employees here have had kids that have completed their tertiary education through the JB Marks Fund.
The one that specifically stands out for me is the 2013 graduation ceremony, where one of the speakers was a lady called Nancy Makateng. Nancy is blind. She is a beneficiary of JB Marks, and she spoke about the immense challenges that she had to face, not just given her humble background, but also being blind and being able, notwithstanding all of that, to qualify as a lawyer.
My mother is a single parent. She had to take care of me and my brother. And I have made her aware that I'm not going to make it if I'm not studying. I wasn't ready to go and work as a switchboard operator or a musician, as most blind people do. She just said, as long as I do my best, she will make sure that I get the funds. She was not in a position to fund my university fee, neither rest or tuition. So I actually applied for a student loan, which was going to be the only way I was going to survive. I was sponsored by JB Marks when I was at the University of Natal. That is when my mother was a mine worker. So she heard about the bursary and she made an application for me and I was selected.
And in that, we realized that JB Marks is a journey of perseverance. It's a journey of hope. It's a journey of success.
So we've got a bursary scheme, which is JB Marks. We've got a development agency, the Mineworkers Development Agency. We've got a training center and an academy, and we also have a research institute.
We've had an active bursary scheme over the years, which has to date put more than 100 children through the university. It's widely successful. The MIC actively sit on the panel that helps to adjudicate who we give bursaries to.
I'm positive we've produced more than 1,500 graduates in various fields, including doctors, engineers, electricians, and that was our goal.
Mineworkers Development Agency effectively re-skilled and retrained a lot of those workers. To the extent, it went beyond just the workers, because what we saw was also that they were starting to train and develop micro-enterprises in the communities.
Great to see how their careers have blossomed and the changes that they've made.
And through it all, as we continue onwards and upwards, we have always made sure to stay true to our principles and to not lose sight of our true purpose.
It's been an interesting journey, but the challenge then has always been not to deviate too far from our founding ethos and values and our DNA.
When I say an opportunity, it means that I'm part of the legacy of making MIC great, of making MIC hold its integrity, especially for the people that started the MIC, where we come from and where we are now and where we are going.
For me, interacting with MIC as an investment company was quite fascinating to see how a trust could conceptualize the idea of putting up an investment company to do good.
The one thing that you could say about the MIC, and I think you could still say about it, is that it is a solid BE company that does not enrich individuals. We have seen how BE deals are being done outside. It has always been, the lamentation that you hear all the time is that it has enriched individuals.
I think we've taken that into how we do business with our own investment companies.
And I think beyond that, we've always managed to stay true to our mandate in terms of why we were set up, which was, yes, we're the commercial arm. Our aim is to invest and to grow our net asset value and to create cash flow so that we can create a dividend flow to the trust. But at the back of it sits, an ability to fund a whole range of developmental programs that have made a vast impact on many thousands of beneficiaries' lives.
If one really sits down and has a look at where the company's come from, what it has done, the impact that it has had, it really is something to be proud of and one to be associated with as well.
It's one thing to have a vision, it's a whole other thing to actually act it out and bring it into the real world.
All while, through hard work, making the right choices and navigating the path, we have grown value beyond all expectations.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I think MIC has grown in leaps and bounds. I think thinking of the fact that they started with a seed capital of 3 million and we're 8 billion now.
So it's been a tremendous growth story.
And as we sit here today to celebrate this remarkable milestone, we are reminded of the journey we have been on together, the enormous achievements and the challenges we have overcome.
I've never encountered a team like this. We are very strong, we're very resilient, we are positive. And we always show up with a smile.
I think the other interesting part of the growth story is when I joined the organization, I stand to be corrected, but I think we were about 6 people here in total. We're now an organization that's close to 20 people, so it's more than doubled in size.
Because you also have individuals who are still in the team who've been here for a lot longer and they've gotten to see the team evolve.
And there's lots of love to be shared at the MIC, and I think it keeps us grounded.
If you think about how audacious a goal it would have been for the founding fathers of MIC to say we are going to dedicate 3 million rand, which was a lot of money back then, towards changing the lives of our members, their dependents and their communities, and the fact that they have. I think that if that doesn't change your perspective and your belief in the possibilities in this country, I don't know what will.